Oh, wow. I like those vibes. I like those vibes, Kale.
Funky Tuesday mailbag. Get lit, everyone.
You always know the intro music's good when Kale's in the office. Like, I saw it pop on the screen. I saw he was in the office. I was like, the intro music's going to be fire today. Can you hear me?
Kind of.
Am I coming through?
Like, wait, you're like a little laggy. I'm like afraid to even talk. I just want to let you intro the show.
Okay, well, I'll try to intro the show here. What's up, guys? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast, the DNBA show. On a Tuesday, we got a mailbag coming up today. We got the Christmas Day slate out. We are presented, of course, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up. I'm Harrison Wind. Two-man show today with Brendan Vogt, which means us two are actually going to get a talk for a change. So
that's right.
Should be a fun show today. What's going on, man?
Good, man. I'm very excited to hear your takes, Harrison. Very calmly delivered with plenty of time, no pressure. You know, I'm really excited to chop it up.
Yeah, I'm a little off kilter today. You probably notice my background's a little different. I'm in an undisclosed location in Southern California for the week. This is where I'll be doing the shows from. That's why we're not in studio. And it's also just going to be me and you for most of the week, too. So you guys are going to get a lot of us.
Adam and Eric having a bunch of big secret meetings. Big meetings. We can't tell you what's going on, but
yeah. For
meeting.
those of you who have been paying close attention to the show, there are a lot of meetings happening this week. A lot of meetings.
It's most of the gig. But ready to chop up some hoops with head of live streaming Kale and my Vegas roommate Harrison Wind. Let's get after it.
Kale, who has cut up his face for the second time in the last.
What's going on, Kale?
We got to get you a problem, guys.
Like a bubble
really
boy.
Know what I'm doing. Today I crashed on my longboard, which is a very weird statement to come out of an adult man, but that's what happened today. So.
Kale, we gotta get you a face helmet, bro. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'll look into it.
Thanks.
Man, my Wi-Fi is just really terrible, isn't it?
It is, but I can hear you. Audio's coming through.
You can hear me. I wonder if I should go on my phone. I wonder if that would be a better option. I don't know. Well, let's what were you gonna say, Kale?
I was gonna ask if you had 5G.
I do have 5G.
It might be better on your phone. Your phone.
Send me the StreamYard link.
We'll do it
in the Slack, Kale, and I'll see if I can do that. But let's start off because this is also a podcast. A lot of people will be listening to it as a podcast. The Christmas Day slate is out. Nuggets are not playing on Christmas Day, but we do have a Christmas Day slate of 5 games: Knicks, Hawks, Bucks, Celtics, Warriors, Suns, Nets, Lakers, and Mavs and Jazz. No Nuggets, Brendan Vogt. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not surprised at all that Denver's left off this list. They have stunk up the joint on consecutive Christmas Day games. Now, that's never stopped the league from shoehorning the Knicks into this slot. But there's a sort of realistic way we can view this. People in Denver are used to this. It's an uphill climb to get this team on national TV in the first place. Now, had they come out and showed out in consecutive Christmas games, Jokic gets that MVP, it would be asinine. They'd have no choice but to put Denver on there. Having said that, the way they got their butts handed to them by New Orleans, I kind of anticipated this even before the Jokic thing came to fruition. So on one hand, disappointed because the league is just never going to – Jokic won the MVP, and I believe he's the first MVP to not be featured on Christmas Day since the league went to 5 games. But not surprised at all the same, because it's the league's MO. They've got Utah on there, and they're not going to do Utah and Denver unless both of those teams have proven to be good draws. Uh-oh. This is tough. All right, Kale, hop in here with me.
Harrison, what's up? I am also disappointed to not see Nikola Jokic. Looks like Harrison's going to try on his phone, and Brennan is going to carry us for a sec.
Sick. So are you bummed, Kale, that the Nuggets
no.
are not playing?
I'm not. The Nuggets are horrible on Christmas Day. This is good news for me. The Nuggets are bad on national TV in general until they get to the playoffs, and so this is more wins for the Nuggets because it's more them playing in the comfort zone, which is not on national TV and on NBA TV. They're a great NBA TV team.
Sure. This is one New Orleans loss you don't have to pencil in. I feel you. It selfishly, from the media perspective, given the way the Christmas games have gone, sort of what Ray is saying here, I'm happy to have the day off. I haven't had Christmas off in a long time. But I also understand that, look, this is an opportunity to showcase the best players in the league. And that's what the NBA has done here to some extent. There are 8 active NBA players that have made at least 8 All-Star teams. All 8 of those guys are going to play on Christmas Day. This comes per Micah Adams on Twitter. There's a whopping 153 combined All-Star appearances by players scheduled to play on Christmas. This is their heavy hitter lineup. I do get wanting Jokic to be included. He just won MVP. You don't want to feed into that narrative that he's the availability MVP. He won that thing fair and square, so he should be out there. I get that perspective from Nuggets fans. Selfishly, though, I just don't mind this at all.
Yeah. Selfishly, I'm fine with it. It means my fiance is not going to be pissed at me for leaving on Christmas. This is a big thing if you're in a relationship and you also cover the NBA. Just waiting on the NBA schedule and seeing what holidays you have to miss. Look,
we all worked last Christmas, and it was a big issue in all of our relationships.
Yeah, no, for sure. So selfishly, I'm okay with this. If I'm a Nuggets fan, I'm absolutely outraged. This is bullshit. This is bullshit if you're a Nuggets fan. It's absolute bullshit. I mean, Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP, the Nuggets who actually won a first-round series last season. The Dallas Mavs did not do that. The Nuggets who beat the Jazz in the playoffs 2 years ago. So, I mean, it's bullshit if you're the Nuggets. But at the same time, it's not surprising because the Nuggets aren't a big draw. They don't have Jamal Murray, who's a really marketable guy, probably the most marketable guy on the Nuggets. They don't have him. People still don't tune in as they should to watch Nikola Jokic. So it wasn't surprising. But if I was a Nuggets fan, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Yeah, I agree with that. The slate itself, though, do you have any issues with it? There's a couple. On principle, you look at it and you go, all right, there's only one rematch, right? Playoff rematch, unless I'm mistaken. And that's in the Hawks and the Knicks, which I actually have right at the top of my list. Not to get there, but not to get ahead of ourselves in terms of games that I'm excited to see for that very reason. You've got the Bucks and the Suns on this slate. I would like to see them play each other. Where's that finals rematch? I like the idea of carrying over from that year of parity, building some sort of rivalries and keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, no doubt. I like Hawks Knicks. I like Warriors Suns. Nets Lakers is obviously the marquee game, and we can just go ahead and rank them here. And Mavs Jazz, I have some thoughts on. But another team that is a weird inclusion on Christmas Day is the Celtics.
Yes.
I get it. A lot of people tune into the Celtics. They've got a good fan base. But is the only reason the 76ers aren't in here is because everybody's predicting a Ben Simmons trade and we don't know what they're going to look like in a post Ben Simmons world? Because I feel like that should be Philly.
Yeah, I agree. And Boston's been an underwhelming watch for quite a while now. So I actually have Boston as the number one.
Whoa. I have a complaint here. I'm reading the chat here. Did you guys play the funky music?
Yeah, get off the show. Okay.
Dad's gone, no rules. Bye.
Yeah. Good to see you, Adam. You're not going to talk over us today. Okay. Do we want to rank these? Vote
yes.
Just 1 through 5. Should we just start at the top? I mean, Nets Lakers is the marquee game, right?
Yeah, marquee game. It's in that primetime slot. Lakers getting that second to last slot was like a lock. Healthy Nets against the Lakers. This is the heavy hitter matchup. And, even small market guys here, like, can't complain, right? This makes a ton of sense. The league was always going to do this. And no matter how much I preach parity, you better believe I've cleared my schedule for 8 p.m. Eastern time.
So will I. So will I. I've got to think number 2 is Warriors Suns. I mean, you guys know me. I'm anti-Eastern Conference. So it's not going to be any of those first two. Warriors Suns is very, very intriguing. Warriors are super watchable. The Suns made the finals last season. So I've got that at number 2. What about you?
Well, I want to say Bucks Suns at number 2, but they're not playing each other. I'm actually gonna dip into that Eastern Conference pool, and I'm gonna take Knicks Hawks. I'm a New Jersey guy, so I fall for all of the Madison Square Garden Knicks are back stuff. It gets me every time. I find it exciting. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I get the energy. I feel it. And Trae Young in MSG was one of my favorite parts of the playoffs last year. Now, is this necessarily going to be the best game of the day? It's certainly not the most loaded game, but it's one, I want to watch Trae Young draining threes and shushing the crowd. I'm going to get into that on Christmas.
Oh, for sure. I like this matchup. It's also the first game, and I feel like I'm always tuning in for the first game, and then I'll probably take the second game off.
Yep.
I'll probably pass on Bucks Celtics.
Yes,
and then come back. Yeah, and then come back for Warriors Suns, Nets Lakers, and then probably dip out again.
Post Christmas breakfast, present opening, you sit down, you watch Hawks Knicks, have a great time watching Trae Young shush the crowd. Take a little bit of a break, maybe go spend some time with your family. It's a holiday. But then 3 p.m., baby, you're back, locked in for Warriors Suns. That sounds like a great day of basketball to me.
That's right. That might be a little nap slot. But I just want to say really quickly, in terms of teams that could be in there other than the Celtics, Philly. I also noticed that the Clippers weren't on here. And that goes back to a point Wynn made at the start of the show. Should have pulled on that thread. It's definitely not surprising with Jamal Murray being out. And obviously you can see they did the same thing with the Clippers and no Kawhi. So that was probably a factor as well. But yeah, I'm going to skip that 2:30 game. And then I have Warriors Suns 3 for me. I know you had them too.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Warriors are going to be potentially like the number 2 pull in the league behind the Lakers.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of buzz around the Warriors next season. They're going to be on national TV a ton. They're going to get a ton of hype, deservingly so. They should be really fun again next season. So
I just can't wait to watch the Splash Brothers again. It's been so long. I mean, almost 3 full years at this point. It's going to be a blast.
Will Clay be back by Christmas? I'm not sure. I'm not up to date on his timeline.
I think he's tracking. They think he's going to be ready for the start of the season, but a lot of people say they doubt that. But by Christmas, probably.
I think they've purposely been pretty vague on that.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this nightcap. Mavs and Jazz. This is the slot that the Nuggets would probably be in. Of course, the Nuggets have performed very poorly on Christmas Day in the past. So, I mean, that's another reason they might have been left off this slate, and another reason why maybe internally the Nuggets are like, okay, we're not playing on Christmas Day. We don't have to get embarrassed on national TV again. But the NBA choosing the Jazz and the Mavs over the Nuggets is interesting. It is interesting to me.
But it's easy to follow the league's line of thinking, right? I mean, the Mavericks are the league clearly views them as a national TV draw. I don't know what their ratings are relative to other teams, but that's certainly how the league views Luka. And that's kind of hard to argue with. Now, the Mavericks themselves, whether they're that compelling or good, those are fair questions. But Luka's a guy people are going to sit down to watch on Christmas. The Jazz, I'm going to go small mark Brendan here for a second. Small market Brendan. They were the 1 seed. And so, if we're outraged that Denver's not in there, the Jazz, they don't have a Jokic, but they're still brethren in a sense, right? In terms of their place in the league and the way the league views them. So
no doubt.
It makes it if I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, Denver should be on there. Well, I got to defend the league putting Utah on there because now they fizzled out in the playoffs, but they won a lot of games and they were a fun watch in the regular season. Even if I didn't personally find myself rooting for them or wanting them to win. They played a compelling style of basketball.
They do. I'm just overwatching Utah. I've seen them too many times. They're good. They're really good. But I just don't need to see them again. With the Mavs, though, here's my take. The NBA wants to make Luka Doncic the most popular player in the league.
They do.
Yeah. That is my opinion. The league can sense LeBron is on his final legs. They want Luka Doncic taking the mantle as, this is his league.
Yeah.
If Adam Silver had it his way, Luka Doncic would be the face of the NBA. So that's why Dallas is getting this game over Denver. Luka is, he has more off-court star qualities than Nikola Jokic. He's more visible. He's gonna hype himself up. He's more marketable from the NBA's point of view, even though he probably shouldn't be. So that's my take on the Mavs being there. Adam Silver just loves Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I would have locked them in there before I saw this schedule for all those assumptions, all those same reasons. That said, though, if they're gonna do the let's get the star power in there, then you pick Denver over Utah. Now I know Utah's been a better regular season team recently, and Denver wasn't great on those Christmas games, but Jokic is still the MVP. And if he's not a draw yet, it's on you as the league to make him one. One great way to showcase him would be Christmas. So having defended Utah, I mean, to me, like my biggest objection is Boston. It's just some big market blasphemy. Get them out of here. Who gives a shit at this point? But yeah, I get Utah. I get Dallas for the star power thing, but there is some inconsistency there. If it's about star power, you got to get Jokic in there.
Yeah, for sure. There's also some other news that the Nuggets are going to open up in Phoenix on the second night of the regular season. The NBA is tipping off October 19th. Nets, Bucks, Warriors, Lakers, and then the next night the Nuggets play their first game. 8 o'clock Mountain Time, it looks like, on ESPN at Phoenix. So a nice little Western Conference semifinal matchup there. What's your excitement rating for that opener?
Very, very. I mean, Jamal's not going to be back, but Denver's had an offseason to get whole, get healthy, sort of think about how that series went. Obviously, it was not the tightest series. Phoenix ran away with it, but I like the idea of these two teams playing each other, of the NBA showcasing that. Two really fun teams that are worth watching, that could easily be in the conference finals again. And how about this sort of angle? I think it was Broncos Reddit tweeted, Phoenix is the new Portland. And I laughed at that. Like, Denver finally kind of tackled the Portland thing, I thought. Beat them in 6. Portland's got to figure this thing out. And they
Denver
really were
the Trailblazers into just an organizational tailspin.
Total disarray, free falling. And so, yeah, the Jazz are still there, but I think everyone's kind of bored with that too. Who's the next rivalry for Denver? And I do feel like they've turned a corner. I'm into pumping air, fanning air into this Phoenix-Denver thing.
I like it too. I really like that take. My only worry, the only thing I'm not looking forward to about this matchup is if we see the Suns in 4 guy, I'm just gonna shut off the TV.
Yeah,
and he's gonna be a prominent part of the broadcast, but the second that comes on, I'm just gonna walk out of the DNVR bar.
What they're going to do is Phoenix will invite him there to address the crowd at the start of the game and talk about how fighting isn't cool anymore and that how they really need to just chill out and stop fighting.
Are they going to just run a PSA on not fighting in the arena while simultaneously showing the Suns in 4 guy? Maybe he's doing the PSA probably.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have him address the crowd. You say, listen, I know I'm a cult hero. We got to stop punching each other. It's not a good look. I don't know. Phoenix has to figure it out.
Yeah. All right, well, we got the season coming up real soon, probably a little too soon, but should be an interesting opening night and first month leading into Christmas. Vogt, take us into these first reads, and when we come back, we'll get into the mailbag here.
Well, it's so good to be home because we had those terrible not Breck brews on that Vegas stream the last night. And it's really good to just be back in the land of delicious tasting beer. I'm talking about Breckenridge Brewery, of course. And right now this summer, they're donating 1% of all their profits to the National Parks Conservation Association, fighting fires and more. You can do good by feeling good, by tasting some good beer. You can also enter to win a $30,000 skateboard trailer if you go to breckbrew.com/ingoodco for more details. That's breckbrew.com/ingoodco. Good luck. Be sure to tag us and your friends. When you submit that entry to win, you're trying to get some Breck Brew, whether that's booze or food. Order from the farmhouse if you're able. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time for pickup. Of course, we got you covered. Use code DNVR to save $5. Breckenridge Brewery. It's the good stuff. This is going to be season number 2, fellas, where there's a new name on top of what was once Pepsi Center. Of course, it is now Ball Arena. And did you know that Ball is also sponsoring us here at DNVR, as in the aerospace technology company, as in the world's largest aluminum can and packaging manufacturer, as in the company that's hiring right here in Golden, Colorado. You can check that out using hashtag #WorkAtBallOnline and apply for a position in their aluminum can plant by texting Golden to 77222, or go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden. That's jobs.ball.com and search for Golden, or simply text Golden to 77222. Ball knows what's up. If you're looking for work, that's a great place to start.
So I want to throw a DraftKings pick of the week in here too, because we got to get to a couple of those this week. You can do same game parlays on DraftKings now. Awesome new feature. I'm so happy DraftKings has this now. I'm guessing you're going to be able to do these for the NFL, for Broncos, for college football coming up too. You can opt in to receive a $10 free bet for same game parlays when you bet on baseball right now. So I'm going to go ahead and say, for this DraftKings pick of the week, opt into that free $10 bet. The Rockies are a little hot. They won last night on a walk-off.
Just to let you guys know, the Bets boys hit like a baby beluga, like plus 8,000 same game parlay with that free bet the other day that they gave out.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Let's go. Yeah, dude, the Rockies at home. Sneaky good bet, man. Sneaky good bet.
With Herman Marquez.
Let's go. And a free bet? Come on, talk to me.
Yeah. So I would put it on the Rockies. You know, they're minus 120, minus 1.5 for the spread. That's plus 145. I would put my DraftKings pick of the week on either one of those, and you can same game parlay it with something too. So make sure to check that out on DraftKings Sportsbook this week. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast, the DNBA show. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up. Let's get into the mailbag. Let's get into the mailbag. Let's see what we're working with today. Tons of great questions out there. Here's the first one. Who out of the Summer League Big Three gets the most minutes on the Nuggets this season? From Nick Smith 02.
That was a question I did not have the answer to right off the top of my head.
So the Summer League Big Three is Bol Bol, Zeke Naji, and Bones Highland. Right?
That's right. Zeke.
I put my bets almost exclusively on it being Zeke because Michael Malone doesn't play rookies.
That makes sense. That certainly makes sense.
Well, it's technically Bol Bol's third year, actually.
Okay, yeah, but we all know how much Michael Malone loves to play Bol Bol. So
it's probably Zeke. But is there an argument for Bones here, Went?
I mean, the way Bones gets playing time is, or like the most playing time out of these guys is probably maybe Denver has an injury in the backcourt, which is probably going to happen at some point this season. And look, man, I talked about this the night they drafted Bones Highland, but if you look back at the Nuggets second unit last season and their bench, there was not a lot of creativity there.
Yep.
And Bones Highland, I think, can be a guy who just supercharges a bench unit. I don't know if that's going to happen next season. It's probably not. But, you know, maybe he grows into that guy, that just ultra six man who's an instant offense, instant game changer off the bench. Maybe he grows into that guy in his second year. I have a tough time seeing it happen in his first year, though, unless, like there's a trade, because he's going to start the season behind Monte, behind Facu, behind Will Barton, and behind Austin Rivers.
Right.
So he's going to start the season as the fifth guard. I think Zeke might have a little more clear of a path to rotation minutes than that. So I'd go with Zeke.
Yeah, rotation minutes, and then even still just sort of finding minutes here and there. I mean, Jeff Green, JaMychal Green, these are two guys don't necessarily need to play 82 games in the regular season. So makes more sense for Zeke. Also think Bones will spend a significant chunk of that first half of the season with the gold. I don't know that for sure, and certainly not reporting that, but I do for those reasons that you'd think they'd like to see him with the ball in his hands and getting some reps. But here's the thing. I think Bones can provide this team with something they need more so than the other two right now. I don't know if he's ready to do it, but just in terms of projecting what he can, to have any sort of creativity, any sort of shooting threat, any sort of guy that can turn the corner off the pick and roll and at least pretend that he's going to score. I mean, I'm as big a Facu guy as you're going to find, but that is something he does not do. And so there's a real argument for like, wow, Bones could change the dynamic of the second unit. Having said that, that's a separate thing then. Do you think Malone will do that? Do you think that's the plan for Bones? And I would have to say probably no, not right away.
Here's my only thing. Like, I understand what you're saying with that, but we all know Monte's going to be playing early in the season, not late in the season with the first unit, not with the second, because once Jamal gets back, Monte's probably going to be running that bench unit again. They're going to run that bench unit through Monte, and because he's a rookie, he's looking more likely to get playtime later in the season than early. So the timeline on that just doesn't really make sense to me.
Sure. It's a good point. It's a good point, Kil.
Yeah.
All right. And then Bol, I just look, man, probably not a part of the rotation or probably getting traded. Let's dig into this mailbag. Let's do you think the Nuggets will get home court advantage again, even with Jamal out? I'm trying to remember back to our rankings episode, Wind. I think we had Denver between the two of us somewhere around 5-4, right?
You guys ended up at 5.
5.
Look, they definitely can. I know a lot of people are going to count the Nuggets out from the get-go just because Jamal Murray is going to miss a big chunk of the season. But this team proved last year that they can really pile up regular season wins. Notice I said regular season wins because it's a lot different in the playoffs. That's where you really miss Jamal Murray. But they can get regular season wins without Jamal because they are that deep, and just because Nikola Jokic, having him on your team just gives you such a high floor that you're starting off at.
Right.
So can they get a top 4 seed? Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I know we settled on 5, but I would not be surprised if they got top 4.
Yeah, I've come back around on this. I think I was pushing it a little on that show. I feel it more strongly. I think we're underselling the potential of this regular season roster. I like them at 4, maybe even 3, but that feels like a stretch, especially because we're not really sure how to sort of look at Golden State right now. I think how do the Clippers look? Like, these are all sort of difficult questions to sort out that certainly affect that top 4. But look, I mean, how surprised would any of us be if Jokic, Monte, Barton, MPJ, and Gordon rattle off a bunch of wins? I mean, they were good enough to do it last year, and there was a real compounding effect after multiple injuries. But if Thrill's ready to go, Monte's ready to go, Dozier's ready to go, they have the horses to win a boatload of regular season games, and I like their chances too, for sure.
Well, especially if MPJ takes that next step,
yes,
like we all kind of expect him to. If he's averaging 20-plus points a game, they're going to win a lot of regular season games. They just are.
And I'm nearly certain he will be. I mean, something just short of certain. Yep.
Yeah, I think the Jazz are going to be a regular season powerhouse again.
Yeah.
They're just going to roll through the regular season. They're my pick for the 1 seed. Phoenix, I could see a big regression coming from Phoenix, mainly because like Chris Paul, if you really think about it, he was in the bubble and then he came right back and had a really long season going all the way to the finals. He's not getting any younger. I just could see him not like he's not going to have the same impact that he did in the playoffs on a night-to-night basis in the regular season. He's probably going to try to take it pretty easy. That would be smart of him. So I could see a regression coming from Phoenix. The Clippers, the Trailblazers, there's just a lot of question marks there. The Lakers will surely be better than 7th, but could Denver get the 3? I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah. Don't rule it out. Don't rule it out. That would definitely be my sort of big sort of takeaway on that. All right, Ken, what else we got?
Does Jeff Green still have enough mobility and skill to play small forward on offense next to Facu and PJ?
Looking less likely. This was a typo. It's looking less likely with Zeke struggling in Summer League, but still curious.
Looking less likely with Zeke struggling in Summer League, but still curious from Big Honey 123. Yeah, so it's interesting, man. If you think back on Jeff Green's career, he came into the league as a 3, but he's really been a 4 or 5 for these last several years. And
probably 5 or 6 years. I think since he got to Boston, he's really been like a 4.
It's really been a while. And if you look at Zeke, it's interesting because he played the 5 at Summer League. He played the 4 and the 5. He played like defensively some 3 last year.
Yep.
So you can talk yourself into him as a 3 from a defensive point of view. But I think the more likely scenario is PJ Dozier is the backup 3, and then you're running Facu and Austin Rivers at your backup guard spots. That to me seems like the most likely second unit scenario. So in that case, I could see Zeke being the odd guy out.
Yeah, and watching Zeke work in or around the rim on both ends in Summer League, I mean, I do look at him as a 4 optimally at this point, at least in my eyes. Not sure about center. Small forward feels like a stretch. I was curious about it, though. I mean, right after the Jeff Green signing, it was something I feel like we didn't talk about enough in the immediate aftermath was the opportunity for maybe him to do what you just said, right? It's a little bit positionless. It could just be like who plays – these guys sort of switch, he and Jeff Green, who handles what offensively, who guards who defensively. And you got a lot of size and defense there, but – at this point, with the ways he played in Summer League and the way Malone has deployed both of these guys in the past, my money's on Dozier for sure. For sure.
Is there a case to be made that Jeff Green is going to be Denver's best off the bench guy next season?
I think he is. Yeah. I chose the wrong words and said go-to guy, which isn't the right way to describe Jeff Green, but I do think by default he could end up leading that group in points, and just sort of the guy we look at as the most exciting guy coming off the bench, like ready to breathe some life into the game. He's certainly not a flashy guy or whatever, but he's a high-end, low rotation player.
He's a high-end, low rotation.
Did I say that
player.
right? Yeah.
He's just very good. He's very, very good. There's a reason that Jeff Green's been on some really good teams over the last couple of years because stars want Jeff Green on their team. So I think that's pretty telling.
For sure.
Are we going to do one more here and then take another break?
Let's do that. Let me dig around those bags, see what I scrounge up. Gareth O'Brien, if you could have any all-time – I like this question. If you have any all-time Nuggets point guard in their prime to replace Murray for this season, who are you taking?
I mean, there's a clear answer, right? There's a clear answer, right?
Chauncey?
Right, Chauncey Billups. I mean, of course.
Well, the counter argument would be prime Allen Iverson, but I'm not sure he's the right kind of player for this squad.
Yeah, prime Allen Iverson, and you would just never not score.
Jokic never touches the ball again, though, so there's that. A lot of dynamics in play.
That is a good point. I mean, I would take Chauncey for sure. I think he'd fit around this Jokic MPJ two-man game the best. Defensively, he'd be great as well. So I would take Chauncey over Iverson.
For sure.
Open it up to non-Nuggets real quick. All-time players to play next to Jokic right now, just like a dream. What would you guys pick?
All-time players next to Jokic?
Yeah, point guard.
Oh, point guard.
For this season.
I mean, Steph.
Murray.
Can I just have Steph Curry?
I would almost rather go Chris Paul because of the playmaking. Like
Kale's just coming on this show to pump up his guy Chris Paul.
Okay,
I am a Chris Paul stan.
To be fair, I am a Chris Paul stan.
Kale's like, let's just open this up to the rest of the league. What about Chris Paul?
Okay, that's not where I was gonna go.
Oh God.
No, I mean you're right though. Chris Paul would be an incredible fit. He's an incredible fit on an A team. He's an all timer for sure.
Are we sleeping on Robert Pack though? Just kidding. All right,
the Pac-Man.
The Pac-Man.
Anybody but Moutier. Yeah, even the Emmanuel Moutier would find a way to be a positive player next to Nikola Jokic.
At this point, although at one point he was one of the few that hadn't. But yeah. Well, listen, guys, fantasy football draft season is upon us. And does this sound like a DraftKings read? Well, buckle up for this hard left turn because I'm talking about Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming just launched the new Performance Package 4.0. Don't neglect your balls like the Packers front office has been neglecting Aaron Rodgers. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off free shipping with the code DNVR. This will help you tame that Troy Polamalu in your pants. I'm so angry at whoever made me read that live on the internet. You will be held responsible.
That was clearly written for Rudo.
Yeah. But good news for our international listeners. The life-changing products of Manscaped are now available in Canada, the UK, across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Use code MANSCAPED to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. I think most people don't manscape because they don't have the right tools. With Manscaped, it's easy. You've got no excuse. And you really won't cut yourself unless you try to, unless you just dig as deep as you would take all the little cases off, and maybe then you can draw some blood. But it's never happened for me. Manscaped, the best in men's grooming. Don't neglect your balls. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app. It's everyone's favorite time of year. Is right around the corner. College football season. To celebrate, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new players at the center of the action with $200 in free bets instantly if you bet $1 or more on any college football game. Did you hear that? Were you listening closely? You do not have to win your bet. You just have to bet $1, and you instantly claim $200 in free bets. The DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Check out all the great promotions and daily odds boosts that they're offering. It's safe, secure, reliable, and located right here in the United States. So it's easy to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now and receive $200 in free bets when you place $1 on any college football game. That's promo code DNVR to get your free $200 instantly. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only, new customers only, restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And finally, talk about that sweet marijuana at Solace Meds. Solace Meds has some sweet deals right now. Dixie Elixirs, 2 for $30. Talk to Eric Weedham about it. He's a big fan. He can recommend Spectra 20% off, Ripple 25% off, Silver Shelf Flower 15% off, Connoisseur Shelf Concentrates 15% off. And if you head to any location, you can get a free Solace Bar or King Cone when you mention the code as well. That's any location of Solace Meds. Head in and mention the DNVR20 code. You get 20% off. You get a free Solace Bar or a King Cone. And if you're really smart, if you're listening closely, you can stack that code on top of their other deals. Walk out of there with a king's ransom. Check out Solace Meds. Use code DNVR20. Let them know we sent you.
I just thought about this, thinking back to the Christmas Day schedule. The NBA had an opportunity to put Luka Doncic against Nikola Jokic on Christmas Day. Like, how did they mess that up?
I know, man. I know. In hindsight, like, why didn't they do that? But you know what? We know why. They don't care. They don't care about the Denver Nuggets, guys. And that's just the way it is.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
more
fine.
For us.
Yeah, more for us. All right, let's wrap up with a couple final mailbag questions from questions that you guys submitted. Let's see. From the homie Miroslav, are there any words on Paul Millsap retiring? It is incredible nobody has mentioned his name since the season ended. I agree, man.
Me too.
I agree. Paul Millsap is sitting out there for a contender to grab up for a very cheap contract. He's proven. He's a veteran. Yes, he wears down a little at the end of the season, but still, He's a guy I would want on the end of my bench if I'm a contender. I've got to think he's going to get picked up by one of these teams eventually. I'm surprised he hasn't been signed yet.
Me too, and I'm not sure what their roster situations are at this point. I have braced myself for the notification that he's headed to either the Lakers or the Blazers for some time, on a minimum deal, right? Like, I can't imagine why teams wouldn't be interested in that. I know it didn't fit where Denver was at this point, but that's good value for minimum. I'm surprised, and I don't know, man. At this point that it hasn't happened yet, I do wonder what's going through Paul's mind. I'm sure he signs somewhere eventually, or if he doesn't, he waits and signs with a contender following an injury or something in the middle of the season. But I'm surprised not to hear anything about him.
Watch him sign with Phoenix.
Oh, God, that's going to happen, isn't it? Yeah.
Nuggets Suns opening night. The Suns were the other finalists with the Nuggets for him when he signed in Denver in 2017. I could see that.
That's right.
But I would definitely think he'd go to a contender because winning a championship is really the only thing that matters to him right now. Is a Denver return in the cards? My instinct would be no. But like, if he really doesn't have any offers out there and the Nuggets have an open roster spot, I'm sure the Nuggets would welcome him back, but I could see there being some other bigger needs.
And this is a good point by Oscar too. Maybe he's simply not wanting to take that minimum and it's been offered and he'll wait and test his luck with the contenders at the trade deadline. Yeah, I do. It's hard not to wonder, like, if Denver moves Bol for a second round pick and there's an open spot, like, do they just re-sign Millsap? But I would think he would go somewhere where he might think he could play a little. And at this point, with the way the cookies crumbled, doesn't appear to be here in Denver. Phoenix makes sense. The Lakers make sense to me, although I don't know if they have an open roster spot.
I really hope Paul would be like, look, I've played in Utah, Atlanta, and Denver in my career. I'm not going to the Lakers. I hope he would do that.
Although it is a little funny just thinking about the Lakers' average age currently and then adding Paul Millsap to it, who is 38 years old.
He'd be right at home. Yeah.
Atlanta? Would he view Atlanta as contenders? We'll have to wonder if that would make sense. But
yeah, I've got to think so. They're probably good enough for him to latch on there.
Yeah. All righty, Kit. What else do we got in the old mailbag? No, it's not too late. You snuck in, V8 Tiger. Jamal did a standing dunk on his Insta story. Firstly, is he human? Fair question. Secondly, is he on track to get back earlier than we originally thought? Obviously, D-Line is the medical expert, but we don't have him with us here today. So we'll just have to do some good old-fashioned conjecture.
So on the Summer League broadcast a couple games ago, there was a report that the Nuggets hope to get him back in February or March, which I thought was pretty significant because it was really the first mention of any sort of a timeline that we've got out there. And from that, he's not going to miss all of next season unless there's a setback or something. So that's really good news. If he gets back in like February, you can definitely talk yourself into him kind of rounding into maybe 70% of himself or what he was pre-injury by the playoffs. I bet it's about then. That seems about right. Typical ACL is like 12 months, but you can probably cut like a month or two down for that because it is Jamal Murray.
Right.
And he's going to look to get back as soon as possible. But yeah, I agree with Ray there. I definitely hope he takes his time because, whenever he comes back, he's probably not going to be himself for these playoffs anyway. And he's going to need the full offseason to recover. So it's better that he takes his time instead of like risking it and coming back early. For sure.
I agree with that. February, though, that surprised me. That seems aggressive, but again, it's Jamal. I mean, how have you any doubt that he's taking rehab seriously? Not a shred. So
no, yeah,
that'd be exciting. All right, Kale, anything left? Anything left in the old mailbag there? Cyberflow, friend of the show, Discord member. Bol's absence in the successful end of summer league isn't encouraging. Would you rather see him traded as soon as possible in order for a chance to move on, or give him one last chance with the gold?
So I heard you guys talk about his absence from the last game at the beginning of the show before I got on, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents here.
Sure.
I was pretty surprised when he didn't suit up for that fifth summer league game. And I was surprised because I think it was after the third game, I asked Charles Klask, like, what's the plan for Bol? Do you guys have a number of games that you want to see him play? Because, a lot of time at summer league, the star players, the marquee players play the first couple of games, then sit out, the end of summer league. So I was thinking maybe that's, the Nuggets plan with Bol, have him play the first 3 games and then get other people playing time. I was just trying to get a feel for what they were thinking. And Klaas pretty much said, I'm going to play him as much as possible. I'm going to play him as many minutes as possible, get the ball in his hands as much as possible, play him as many games as possible. So I definitely had my eyebrows raised when I heard he wasn't playing that last game. The second to last game that he didn't play, I feel like that was like, all right, he's played 3 games. He's played well in spots. Let's get some other guys some action. But that fourth game, I was a little caught off guard by him not playing. That definitely kind of got my antenna up.
Yeah, I mean, you would think even like, let's just go full cynical and just say the whole goal is to get the trade value up, which might very well be the case, but a bit cynical. Let's lean into it. You would think both parties would want him out there, himself included. You'd think he'd really want to be out there. So to some extent, it is surprising. I see this conversation happening in the comments, and it's a good one. What's the point of trading him? There's no value there. How important is a second round pick? I think the argument is more about freeing up a roster spot. The second round pick would be nice. To burn one on a cheap flyer if it doesn't work out in Bol is something I think Denver was comfortable doing. So getting it back would be ideal. I don't know if that's as important, though. I do think it's about, well, if it's not going to work here, let's free up that roster spot. But that does all operate under this major premise of this is unsalvageable and it's time to move on.
Yeah. I just think it's time to move on. Yeah, like he could go to the Grand Rapids Gold, play some games there, look like he did at Summer League. But I don't think that's really going to change a whole lot with the Nuggets. That's just my take. So yeah, I just think both. Yeah, I just think he needs a change of scenery for sure.
Yeah. All right, Kel, Mr. Longboarder, what else do we got?
Is that it?
Are we out,
boys? That is it.
We had one more guy. We had one more in the questions.
In the comment section?
I got it right here in the comment section. Say all of the guards were hurt for a period of time and Bones had to start. How would he look with the starters right out of the game?
So it's funny. Like, yeah, he was great at Summer League, and sometimes those stats translate, sometimes they don't. Look, if you just threw him into an NBA game right now, I'm sure there would be some spots where he'd look good. I think he's going to come into the league as an NBA-ready shooter. I don't think the 40% he shot from 3 was a fluke. He was a very good shooter in college.
Yeah.
And playing around better players with more spacing, he's going to be a very good shooter in the pros. But he's still going to be a rookie. He's still going to be a 21-year-old rookie who's getting dropped into an NBA game for the first time. So I could see him having some flashes, but I still think he'd probably be, he'd be a definite downgrade, I think, for Monte Morris right now.
Yeah, that leap, I think, is bigger than maybe some people realize, like from playing well at Summer League to being ready to go in year one at the NBA. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's important to remember that Jamal, who had a great start to Summer League, we tweeted out that graphic from DNVR Nuggets today comparing Jamal and Bones' start. It took Jamal a couple of years to really figure it out, and he wasn't starting right away. So it's still going to be a process, but the one argument for just drag him onto the court tomorrow, like if he's wide open, he's going to hit his shots. He's going to hit his 3-point shots. So there it is, by the way, tail of the tape. And Wind, you pointed out that That 3-point percentage, was that on how many attempts per game?
9 attempts per game.
9. Good Lord.
9. That's a lot, man. Even for Summer League. I think that was the 5th most attempts from 3 per game out of anyone at Summer League.
Yeah.
He was right up there with the leaders in 3-point shots. So that's really significant, man. That's very, very notable from him.
He is certainly something closer to ready, than I would have circled out of the gate. So it's all been encouraging stuff, man, for sure. You can either excel at Summer League or fall on your face. Neither necessarily has to be that telling, but it's certainly better to do the former than the latter.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate the questions, guys. Fun show today. Fun show. You got anything else before we get out of here, Vogt?
I don't know. We've got 9 minutes with no one to interrupt us. I almost just want to hang out. Maybe just get some work done together. I don't know. It's up to you. Should we get out of here, Kale? You got to go. Kale's got to go wash his face. He's got to put some Neosporin.
I'm just clumsy.
It's been washed.
I was just gonna say, Brennan, you really gave Rudo a run for his money on today's Manscaped.
I don't know what that was about, dude. I just I don't know where I was going with the blood thing. Just fully panicked, lost my way. But check out Manscaped, DNVR 20% off.
Code DNVR, not DNVR 20.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you're doing the reads, you've got to make sure you have the codes right. Promo code DNVR.
Son of a gun.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with another show. Let's cue that outro music, Kale. Let's cue it up.
No outro music on this computer. I haven't loaded it up.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is
I will do it live.
All right.
Just get us out of here.
right after I get promoted, right?
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good day. My ass.